It's just after 7:30 Sunday night, and I am really, I wouldn't say excited. It's the end of a weekend. I've been working on my tax. You know how it goes. I'm tired, but I am really, really still happy to be here and creating with you guys. Much better than doing bookwork, right? Much, much better. So I'm very, very glad that you can join me tonight. So please pop on and say hi. I'm also going to pull this up on my computer so that you can I can see your comments while I'm working. I found that works really, really well for me. So I'm actually on my, oops, wrong browser. Here we go, YouTube. So, how's everyone's weekend been? Have you all had a nice weekend? I hope so. So please say hello. Yep, comments. Hey Kay, hi Cindy, nice to see you. Okay, I'm going to get this turned around really, really quickly tonight, and we'll get started. I'm still playing with a bit of old stuff, and if we get time, or if anyone has an interest, I can always pull out a little bit of new stuff as well. On my Facebook page the other night, we talked about some new colours. That's in my VIP group. If you're wondering how you get into the VIP group, that's made up of my customers or team members. It's people in Australia, because I do giveaways and things, and it's not actually practical for me to do giveaways to overseas people, so I just keep it in-house, and that's the reason. So we've got a few people here already. Please, like I said, say hello. Oh, you had a good weekend, Kay. I'm so happy. Up at Hawk's Nest, was it beautiful? The weather was lovely. Hey, Beryl, I told you I'd be here around now. Oh, you like the tie-dye cards? That was the plan when I bought that spiral die, which is what it's called, the whole point of that was so that I could show off the ink colours. I just thought it would make some nice ink colour cards. If you like, I'll pull them out in just a second and show them off, so that anyone who didn't get to see them the other night can see them as well. Oh, that's good, Kay. I'm happy. All right, so let's get this turned around and get moving, and I'll show you what I'm looking at. Here we go. All right, here on the desk. Nothing fancy, just switching my camera around. Can everyone see that? Okay, move it over this way a little bit. Okay, got some blocks, got some bits and pieces. Tonight I'm going to play with the Good Morning Magnolia set, because I haven't played with it for a really long time. Some of you may remember I did a few cards with this when it first came out. We did the whitewash technique. That's another YouTube video that you can go check out if you're interested in that technique. It allows you to color on darker colors and then add color as well. So that's a really nice technique. But I've done lots of different things with this, and I thought I'd just do a couple of things tonight, some simple stamping, and then we might step it up and do a little bit of watercoloring and see how that goes. So a couple of little techniques we'll play with tonight. Okay, so let me show you. This is the catalogue that's about to retire. It's almost finished, almost come to an end. Hello, Kathy. Hi from Belgium. Everyone knows that's where the best chocolates are, right? So you can see we've gone through this here, and everything that's highlighted in my catalogue is actually going to retire. Now, they do have everything that's retiring available in the online store at the moment. So, for example, this beautiful Forever Greenery paper, that's retiring. So it will be no longer available. So if you want it, you need to grab it now. So you head over to the online store. I'll put the details of that in the description below when I'm done with the video. The important thing is that a lot of things have already sold out, so you want to get over there before too long so that you don't miss out on things that you might be hoping to get. I can tell you pretty much all the DSP, the Designer Series paper, pretty much all of that is retiring except for one. Let me show you which one. And actually it's the one I was hoping wouldn't retire, so I was very, very happy. So all of these are going. The World of Good is going, that specialty paper, the Forever Greenery, like I said, all these different ones. The only one that you might notice doesn't have the highlighted bit to show you that it's retiring is this In Good Taste Designer Series paper. This is a double pack, and I'm so glad it's not retiring because it is just so useful. So I got my wish. That one hasn't retired, but everything else in the Designer Series paper is going. So if there's something you like, you want to grab it, And some of them are marked down as well. Here in Australia, for example, the Forever Greenery is marked down to $16, I believe. I think that's right. I probably should check these things before I say them. But I think that is right. Let me quickly look. I know I saw it earlier and went, oh yay, that's still there. Pretty sure it is. Up near the top, there it is. Oh no, that one's not retiring. So sorry. No, it isn't. It's $20, which is the standalone price that it always was. But I think maybe it's this one. I know one of them was down to 16, so it was 20% off. Yes, the Artistry Blooms paper is 16. Okay, so I got myself mixed around there, but that's definitely marked down. So some of them are, some of them aren't. Go check out the shops so that you can see which ones you can get cheaper. And there's some really, really big bargains on some of the things. A lot of the big 75% off stuff has gone, but there's still a few little things left. This set here that I haven't used in a while, I need to use it before it retires. But today on page 34, we have our Good Morning Magnolia set, which as you can see is retiring. And this comes with matching dies. It tells me that they are on page 182. So there's these lovely flower images, but there's also some really, really pretty words. I think it's a really thoughtful set, a very thoughtful set. So 182 is where the Magnolia dies are. There they are right up the top here, Magnolia Memory dies. So those are going. Okay, so you want to check those out. I'm just looking to see if I'll quickly do a search, because that's a bit quicker than going through everything looking, and see if those are marked down for you. Magnolia. Okay, the memory dies are marked down from 61 to 54.90, so that's a good little saving. I think that's what, 10% off. And then the Good Morning Magnolia stamp set, that's coming up now. There we go. That one is $63. It's not retiring. It's quite a big set. So it comes in 2 boxes. This is just 1 box, and the other box is over in my bookcase. So there we go. All right. So let's get started and do have a little bit of fun with it. I'm actually going to stamp this in Mossy Meadow. You might have noticed. Oh, I've already taken it out. It's already on the block. There it is. And there's also the stamps you see here are also in that box as well. The other box has got more of the greetings in it, more of the longer greetings. So I'm going to bring in my Mossy Meadow ink pad. I'm going to ink this up. Now with a big stamp like this, you can decide whether you want to stamp face down or whether you'd rather have it face up and press your paper to it. You can go either way because it is a bigger stamp. If it was any bigger, I would say definitely put the paper on top of the stamp thing rather than the other way around. I'm just going to, actually I'm deciding which way I want this to go. I'm going to go slightly over the edges because I like that look, especially when I'm just doing straight on stamping, and give it a good old push. Because it's got foam, we don't need to use a mat underneath. It just stamps really, really beautifully. The Mossy Meadow is a nice neutral, and it actually, I think it's a lot softer than maybe stamping. A lot of people stamp with, say, black. I would avoid black for something like this. I would want to go with a more softer colour. So you could use espresso brown would be nice, early espresso, or even soft suede. But today I'm using the green, the Mossy Meadow, and that's a neutral as well. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to colour this really, really simply. I'm going to use some sponge daubers, and I'm actually going to pull that one out. And I'm going to go a little brighter than I might normally. I'm feeling a bit brighter tonight, so we're going to go Flirty Flamingo. And I'm going to pop my daubers straight into my ink pad. And instead of actually, I mean, I have lots of colouring options here. I could use blends, I could use watercolour pencils, I could use all different sorts of things, but I like the softness of a dauber. So I'm going to start right here in the middle, and I'm going to sort of just bring it out. You could also use our new blending brushes. They'd be nice for this as well. And you can see I've just sort of started in the middle and started to work my way out. I'm not actually going to colour the outside. I'm going to leave them white. And I'm going to do it again. Sorry if I hope I'm not wobbling the table too much. I know that's a bit distracting. So I'm just leaving the ends of the flower white, and that just looks really nice just like that. Then I'm going to use a different dauber, so get another one out of the bag. Once I've used them, some people clean their daubers. I'm sorry, but I'm not that person. I just keep my daubers in a box, and if I have a green dauber, I just keep it for green. But you know, you can go however you like. Now if you wanted a softer color, you could maybe go mint macaron, or the new soft succulent would be really nice for this as well. Has anyone seen that color yet? Who hasn't seen it? I'm just looking at the comments. I'm sorry, I missed. And I was going to show you my tie-dye cards. I'll show you those in a minute. So I've got actually a couple of boxes of new stuff, which is a bit of fun. But I was just looking at that soft succulent. So it's kind of like it's more of a blue-based green. It doesn't have any yellow in it at all. And I think that would be quite nice with this. How about I just try it a little bit on the back or on some scrap paper just to see how dark it is. So you can see it looks quite dark on the sponge, but it is soft, as the name would suggest. So we could go with that if we wanted to. But I think maybe the yes, I don't have all the blends yet either, Beryl. So yeah. Yes, I love the DSP from that Sweet Tooth Cindy. Alright, anyway, I think even though it's really nice, I'm going to stick with my Mossy Meadow today. Mossy Meadow is probably my favourite green to work with. And I'm just going to, I usually, when I'm going to use a dauber, I usually get the strongest part of the ink off on some scrap paper first, because then I'm going to get a softer result when I start going onto my finished piece. Now I'm only wanting to do a little bit of sponging on each leaf. I'm not going to do a lot of sponging, and I'm not colouring it in perfectly. I'm just colouring it in really simply. Who has this set and loves it? Hey there, Deb, how are you? Nice to see you tonight. Ah, Nelson, I have a cousin there. Actually, well, a cousin and then his daughter, who I guess is also my cousin. But yeah, I don't get over there very often. Haven't been there for years, but it's a nice place. Good weather. It's quite different to the rest of New Zealand, I think. Okay, so I'm going to call that, I like the softness of this rather than colouring it in really precisely with something like blends, which would give me a totally different look. Okay, so because we're just going really simple with this card, and it's just a bit of stamping and really not much else, I'm going to go with the thank you. I'm going to pop that on a block, and I'm going to bring that, I'm deciding where I want my thanks to be. I think I'll go over here. I'm going to go with my Mossy Meadow. And maybe a ribbon would finish this off really nicely. What I'll do is I'll finish this card off completely once I decide whether I'm going to add, excuse me while I bring my head in, sorry guys. There we go. Isn't that a nice font? I love that font. Alright, now something else, of course, we could do a number of other things. We could add a little bit of brown perhaps to our stem, and a bit more green, or I could do a little bit of sponging around it to actually add a little bit more, but I'm not. I'm going to just call it done. Believe it or not. That's an easy peasy card, I know. Ah, yes. I've always loved this set. I just think you don't need to do much of it to make it really rather special. Okay, so we'll call that one done. Super simple. I'll put it on a, like I said, I'll finish it off and I'll decide whether or not I want to add a ribbon. I might or I might not. We'll see. Yeah, it does look good, doesn't it? Okay. So here's what I prepared earlier. What I've done here is I've already stamped this one, and and cut it out with the matching dies. So the matching dies, like I said, are they're both still available. The last time I checked, they're not a bundle, they're separate items, but you can still get them both separately. So the stamp set is 63, and I think we said, was it 54.90 I think on special for the dies. So the good thing about these dies, I mean, you could cut this out by hand, most certainly, but it does save a lot of time, especially if you're doing a lot of them. In this case, I've actually used watercolor paper. So I'm using our Fluid 100, there it is, watercolor paper, and I've actually stamped on this with Stays On ink. Now this is, we only have 2 colors of Stays On at the current time, and one is jet black and the other is this one, the Settle Brown. And the Settle Brown is good because, once again, it's not as harsh as the black. So if we're going to watercolor, it's going to give us a totally different look. So I am going to use my aqua pens, which I've got here, and I've got a little bit of water in the barrel. This is the thinnest one. Let me just see, have I got enough water in this one? I might just stick with my thin one because I don't think I have enough water in my middle one. I should have checked that before I started, but I didn't. And if I get desperate, I can always pour water from one to the other. But anyway, let's start with this one. Making sure that, and if you ever want to, you just give it a bit of a squeeze to make sure that the water is actually coming through, and then it will give you a nice, just making sure. Sometimes, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I don't know if this will, it should work. I think the barrels, I'm learning something. I think the barrels are the same size. So let's test that theory. I'm going to take this barrel off because I want the medium one. Oh, here's something weird about these. They screw on and off the opposite way to what you would expect. So for anyone who's familiar with that old, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, you go the opposite way with these. I don't know why. I don't know whether that was on purpose. So I'm going to put the medium tip onto, oops, I'm trying to screw it on the wrong way again. I just can't help it. I try and put them together. And now let me see if this will come through for me. Yep, that's better. So you can see there's a little bit of colour in it from the last time I used it. And if ever that happens, that's fine. You just sort of run it off, squeeze a bit of water through, run it through so until you're getting a clear, and once it's coming out clear, it's clean enough to pick up a different color. So I'm going to start with that. So you can technically use one pen for a complete picture. So I'm going to go with the Flirty Flamingo again, I think, or should I go yellow? Oh, I don't know. What do we think? Do we want yellow center or pink center? I've got my backing already cut out, so I've actually got a piece of white if I chose a color other than pink, or this is the matching pink. Doesn't look the same, but it is actually the matching pink that this could go on if we so chose. Well, but if we go white, we could pick another color. What do you guys think? I'm just having a look to see if anyone, you like the pink barrel. Alright, well you're the first to answer, so that's the one we're going to go with. So we'll do that. Alright, so to use these, there's a couple of options, okay? They make fantastic watercolors, these water-based inks. So you can give it a good hard squeeze, and then what that will do is put ink here on the lid, okay? Which I can then pick up with my water pen, give it a little bit of a squeeze, bring some water through, and start painting with that. That's one option. Another option is to get a block. Doesn't matter what size really, but a small one is good, and actually put your block into the ink, and then I've got enough ink here. Once again, squeeze a little bit of water and then start to pick it up from the block. Okay, so there's a couple of options. If people don't like to have a mess inside their ink pads, go the block option. If it doesn't bother you, then why not just use your lid as a palette? So really, it's totally up to you. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to start in the middle. And I'm just going to start to bring out my colour. The thing I love about watercolouring with inks is that it's quick, and you don't need to be an artist to make it look amazing. So as I'm going, it's getting lighter because the water is coming through more and the colour is starting to fade a little bit. But I can always come back in and add more colour, which is not a problem, and sometimes that's a really nice thing to do anyway. So I'm going to leave a little bit of white. Right, so that's kind of just the first run. Then I'm going to come back in, I'm going to squeeze it again. And each time you do it, your colour will be a little darker. But if you push too much water through, obviously that fades it. So it's a good way to know that if you want it to be lighter, just push a bit more water through. Now, the thing about watercolouring is you want to leave little bits of white here and there. Not only does it give the impression of light hitting a subject, but it also gives life to your colouring. So if you were using markers such as blends or alcohol markers to do your colouring, that's fine, but it'll give you a very different result. That's why blends are good, that you've got the dark and the light, because otherwise it would look quite flat, because you don't tend to leave white spots for your colouring with blends. I'm going to go with one more colour. I'm not adding any water, I just want to be a bit darker in the middle. I'm actually thinking about adding a little bit of a darker colour, to be honest. My lid fell off. There we go. Right, so I'm going to get rid of that pink. Have people seen the new colours around on the on the internet? There's all new colours that we've been playing with, which is a bit of fun. Then I'm going to go with my Mossy Meadow again, give it a good old squeeze. And I've got lots and lots of colour here to pick up. Now the fun thing about Mossy Meadow is when you add water, it goes quite a bit lighter. It's quite a bright colour when you do that, whereas you can see the darkness that it would be if you were just stamping it straight on. But when you add water, you get this really interesting coloured result. So I'm going to start here at the top, and you'll see it's quite dark. It will dry a little bit lighter, of course. But I don't feel the need to colour in absolutely everything. Once again, I'm wanting to leave a little bit of light. See how quick it is though, right? It's not, this is not a difficult or time-consuming colouring technique. Much quicker than something more precise like blends. And you can see it's getting lighter and lighter and lighter as I go. Right, so I started here where that really dark one is, and now it's really light. So I'm going to come back in and add a little bit more colour to some of these. Because they're already a bit wet, the colouring is a bit softer. I'm going to add a bit more. So I'm hoping that you can see that as we add little bits of dark and light, leave little bits of white, it starts to take on a life of its own, and it makes it, it gives that beautiful watercolour look, but it also starts to, it can be quite realistic. It's quite a, and the interesting thing is the bits that you don't colour, and that's what I love about watercolouring, is it, your brain fills in the bits that you leave. The brain kind of knows what to do with them and puts all the right things in here and there. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I might just add a tiny bit more darkness down the middle here. But you can see it's just looking really pretty. And it's that real watercoloured look. So that won't take very long to dry. It doesn't go through like, oh, you can see I had a failed attempt on the one on the back. I wasn't going to show you that. Whoops. Alright, so now we get to decide whether we're going to be putting it on the pink or whether we're going to put it on the white. And you might notice, can you see my beautiful embossing folder? This is the painted texture embossing folder. This is currently my new favourite embossing folder. I mean, I go through stages. It's this one. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it very well? It's got It's got all these, it actually looks to me like gesso. It really does. It just is stunning. It's a 3D embossing folder, so you need to put it through, if you're using it with a cut and emboss machine, put it through with the specialty plate, and that will give you the perfect embossing, and it's really quite deep. And yeah, it's got that feel. It almost looks like it could be wet, that wet gesso look. Anyway, now we get to decide whether we're going to go. I think maybe the pink is too dark. I'm tempted to go with the white. I am a bit of a white girl. I tend to do a lot of white stuff. Yeah, everyone's going white. Oh, okay, I'm sorry I didn't go yellow. I'll do a yellow one just for you. How about that? Yes, I love subtle brown for outlines and colouring as well. Here's what you need to know. If you're going to watercolouring, you need a waterproof ink. If you're going to use alcohol markers, you need a water-based ink for alcohol markers. So you're thinking, well, it's kind of round the other way, you know. But the reason why is because waterproof ink like StazOn, like this one, will resist when you're using your watercolors and adding water to it. It will not bleed. But if you were to use StazOn and then color with alcohol markers, it could blur. Okay, in fact, it probably will blur. You want to use a water-based ink with that, which the alcohol markers won't affect. So that's why we have the two different black inks. We have the Memento and the StazOn, and the brown has been a really useful second color to add to the StazOn range. But a lot of people think when blends first came out, I remember doing a card one day with, I think I was using Espresso Brown actually, which is another water-based ink of course, and somebody said, what do you mean, why are you using that? Don't you have to use Memento? You can use Memento if you're using black, but you can actually use any colour as long as it's water-based. So just remember that when you're using your blends. Alright, so I'm deciding which way to go. We've got our thanks. So I might pop this one on. I'm deciding. I've got a piece of paper here. I'm going to put this, and I think because of the colours that I've chosen, I'll go with the green again because it's just, we know it's going to go. And I'm going to add my thank you. This card I'm definitely going to add a ribbon. I think that would be nice. I think I'm thinking the seam binding, the white seam binding ribbon would be good for this. So I'm just, excuse me while I bring my head in, my apologies. I want this to be straight. Got my thanks there, which looks great. And then I'm just going to get my trimmer, which is right behind me here. Let's move this out of the way so I don't stick anything in it that I shouldn't. And I think I'll go 3/4 of an inch. Yep, that's perfect. Okay, 3/4 of an inch is the right size if I want to use one of my picket banner punches. I've got a couple of these punches. I've got the one that has, the picket banner is the one with the flagged ends, which is probably my favorite, but this one is also a similar one, and it'll give me a nice end as well. So I'm going to start from this side. I'd like this to finish about here. There's my scissors, and we'll go chop that off. And then I'm going to pop this into this end. I'm deciding if I want the rounded end or the flat end. Big decision. Round or flat? Let's go flat. Push that in all the way until it stops, and then I'm just looking at it on the other side to make sure that it has actually, and that's how that looks. We're going with the rounded end, and this is going to go right here. Now, because I've stamped in the green, I'm actually going to use my pink dauber to go around. It's like the contrasting colour, to pick up a bit more colour, because I want it to stand out a little bit in the white background. If you don't need it to stand out, then you don't need to ink it. But inking things always makes them seem finished, don't you think? For anyone who's interested, I am going to be running an online specialty class this week for Mother's Day. I put the projects up last night on my Instagram and Facebook pages. And the whole point is that these are, it's like a little boxed set of cards, which are made with new products. But because of that, I'm not allowed to mail them until the day before the catalogue goes live. So long as no one receives them until the catalogue is live, I'm allowed to do it with new product. But if you're in Australia and you're having the product sent to you to make up, and you need it for Mother's Day, and you're worried that maybe me sending them out on the 3rd, which is the Monday before Mother's Day, if you're worried that that's not going to be enough time, I can do you an alternative project in a different colouring. So I was thinking I'd probably do the Hydrangea Haven set for anyone who's worried about the timing. But if it's just for you, or if you're not worried about it when it might arrive, then by all means you'll get the new stuff, which is it's a new set called Perfectly, I think it's Perfectly Penned. I need to check that. But it's also got a couple of other new products in it as well. But so long as I checked with the head office, and so long as I don't have people receiving them before they are live, then I can do that. So there we go. So I'll be putting this onto a probably a pink backing. I was thinking might be nice. So be like that colouring. I think that would be nice. I could also do green, but we'll see. I'll have a little play, and then I'll put these up on my Instagram page and Facebook page tonight. If you're haven't already hit the like button on my Facebook page, you don't have to be in Australia for that. Anyone can do that, no matter where you are. Head over there. It's just Linda Dolke's Stampin' Up demonstrator, and then just hit like, and you'll see all the posts that I post every day. I try and post stuff every day. I notice I'm missing a few comments. I just noticed people have been commenting and I've been missing them. Sorry. Oh, hi Helen. How are you? Nice to see you there. Hey Shirley. I hope I didn't miss anybody else. So yeah, do check that out. Head over there. If you're in Australia and you're a customer, or you'd like to be a customer, then certainly visit the VIP page. So same name, but it's my private VIP page, so that I do more local based stuff for those people. So what is the name of the pink pad that I use? It's called Flirty Flamingo. It's this colour here. Okay, so this is in our Brights range. Cherie, this is a it's been around for a few years now, this colour, Flirty Flamingo. And in fact, I'm trying to remember if this was originally an in colour. It might have been. I think it may have come back, but I think it was an in colour, and then it went, and then it came back in again almost immediately as a regular colour. Yeah, you're welcome. I saw you wrote all in capitals, and I thought, oh, have I said something wrong? Because I thought you were yelling at me, but no, that's okay. Alright, so there's 2 little cards for you tonight. I'm going to leave it at that tonight. So I will be, like I said, I'll post these 2 cards, and I'll make sure that that you guys get to see the finished result, because it's always nice to see them when they're done, isn't it? I'm not sure where I put the other one. Oh well, it's close by. I'll find it in no time and post it for you. I hope everyone's had a great weekend, that this new week is going to bring lots of good things for you wherever you are. We've only got just over a week until our new catalogue goes live, so if there is something that you're wanting to get before the old catalogue has discontinued, grab it while you can. And like I said, I'll put all the details in the description below for you. Have a great week, guys. Lovely to see you all, and see you next week. Bye bye. You're very welcome, guys. I'm so sorry. I just saw there was a couple more comments I didn't respond to. Thank you so much. I hope that everyone's had a great week and a great weekend, and we're looking forward to a new week ahead. Bye bye.